Hi friends, it's Becky and I want to open up my curated bead box for August 2025. This one is themed Notes of Sepia. You can see what's in that on the front of this box. We've got a list on the front here, and then you've got the places where you can go to find more of these beads. Dollarbead.com. It is not the same as Dollar Bead Box. It is a different company, and you do not need to be a subscriber in order to shop from there. Usually what we get in our curated bead box, it is a monthly bead subscription. We'll usually get some round beads. There may be some findings. There may be some extras, like looks like we've got a bookmark in this one. You usually have beads in various shapes and finishes and colors. Sometimes we'll get a gemstone. Sometimes we just get some really fun focals. And it is a very frugal bead subscription to have out there. It's one of the least expensive ones that you have, so you get quite a few beads though with your bead box, and it also comes with a finding starter kit, which makes it really great for beginning beaders. You can start build your bead stash. You can start playing around with beading. All you need to add is tools to be able to create with it. So I'm going to be unboxing this. I'm going to be sorting it into my 18 grit organizer, which is, I usually use this one because it's got deeper wells than my 15 grit organizers for this specific bead box. And it's got this big area over here. I just took out some of the sections in order to open this up so I can put in my finding starter pack and some of the bigger findings that come in this bead box that may not fit in here. So let's get this open, and at the end of this, after I'm done organizing this, I am going to probably make something with you. I've been doing a little bit of a personal challenge this month to make something with every single thing that I open. So I'm going to be doing a design on the fly. Not sure what yet. Maybe it'll be a bookmark. Probably will be a bookmark. But we're going to do that with this when I get it open. So let's pull out our beads. And I'm going to keep this box handy so I can read the information about it to y'all. Alright, so this is the finding starter kit that I was mentioning before. Once again, it's great if you are a beginning beader. This is a fantastic... Oh, I love these beads. Look at that, the matte black. Ooh, look at those together. I'm into this, actually. I'm pleased already with these tones. We've got a bead mix. We've got our findings and things. Okay, so you'll usually get a focal, some findings. The beads usually vary between like 10, 8, or 6 millimeters. You might get a few that are about 4 millimeters as well, but this is generally about the size that you're going to be seeing with that. And then you've got your finding starter kit where you've got some memory wire. You've got some beading wire. Oh, sorry, these are the ear wires. That's the beading wire. It's like tiger tail. You've got some ear wires. You've got some stretch cord. You've got some crimps that you can use with your beading wire. You've got some head pins. You've got some clasps, some lobster clasps, and you've got some jump rings. So again, it is a finding starter kit. It is meant to be used, by anyone really, but if you are new to beading, it means that you can get started right away making things out of this bead subscription without having to invest a lot in these findings and these essentials to be able to do your beading. And like I said, this will usually fit right in here, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that over there, and then we can start playing around and sorting these other beads that we have. Let's get these sort of lined up by size, because it is listed by size on there. And this may not be the exact order, but at least it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to figure out who's who. So we do have some 10 millimeter dark brown crackle glass beads. That's this one. And this brown is such a warm and lovely, like root beer brown. It's not like blah mud brown. It's a very ambery, kind of dark amber kind of a brown. And you can see that with, you get the light reflecting off of some of the crackles in that crackle glass. This is an 8-inch strand. That should fit pretty nicely in one of my sections here on my organizer. There we go. And then we've got some cinnamon jade style glass bead. I think that's this one right here. And I think when we get the jade style glass beads, that means it's like semi-opaque. Like that, so you get some light coming through it. But I love this cinnamon color. This is very reminiscent of, you know what, I was actually saying the name of the gemstone today even. It starts with a C. It's the same red color. Why is my brain not enjoying that? Carnelian. It's giving carnelian, but again, it is glass. But I'm pulling some real fall vibes out of these colors. Sort of love that. Then we've got some brown blossom spray. These are still 10 millimeters glass beads. And this is kind of a cooler brown with kind of a mustard yellow spray on it. But again, we've got fall vibes going on. And this one is a 6-inch strand, so it's just a little shorter than the others. Just a few fewer beads. So you've got some browns and those warm colors, and it looks like we're slipping into some monochrome colors here for the next little bit. And that's going to be this black semi-matte glass bead. I love these, actually. Now, they are glass. They are not silicone. They look kind of the way that silicone beads look, where they've got that matte, sort of almost look plastic finish, but these are not. They are glass. And you can hear that when they drop onto my ladybug dish. There we go. You can see where that hole is. I think I really love these. I can 100% see me using these for some things. Then we've got the 8 millimeter Jasper style glass bead. This is a 16-inch strand. And you've got all of those little speckles on that. The black with gray specks. And next we've got some white black, or sorry, 6 millimeter Dalmatian Jasper style glass bead. That's going to be this guy here. So these are the glass beads. And that almost feels a little howlite-y to me, with the white bead and the black and gray. Now these are also 6 millimeter. And this one is another 16-inch strand. So, you know, we've got a few beads in here. And I kind of like how the this Notes of Sepia theme. I don't know if you saw some of the charms and stuff are like musical notes and treble cluffs and all sorts of, you know, musical types of things. And so like the black and white things, when I think of music and black and white, I think of piano keys. And then when I think of like these warm tones of these browns and musical notes, I think of woodwind, or sorry, I think of stringed instruments like violins, viola, cello, that sort of thing, because you always had like just really warm wood colors on the violins that we played in orchestra. That was pretty fun. And then this is a white-black gemstone strand. It doesn't say what gemstone it is. It feels like it might be a type of quartz. I could be wrong though. But it is really cool that you've got all these black specks in this white gemstone. It's not Dalmatian Jasper. Dalmatian Jasper is a totally different look. But we've got this strand, and this one is a 7 to 8 inch strand. It is also 6 millimeters in size. All right, now let's move on to some of the other beads, the ones that came in bags. We've got these 10 millimeter black faceted cube beads. There are 12 of them in here, and it looks like they have pretty big holes on them, so they could fit on like some leather and some of those other types of stringing materials, maybe some cord, some knotting cord. You could definitely fit those guys on there. And a lot of times some of these glass beads that you get in the Curated Bead Box, they do have larger sized holes, so they do fit on some of the stringing materials that beads with smaller holes just don't fit on. All right, then we've got some 6 millimeter silver iron spacer beads. There are 40 beads in this bag. They feel pretty lightweight, and it looks like I've got a little extra. I've got a little 4 millimeter spacer that snuck its way into my bag. Look at that. Bonus. Right. And then we've got some clear pressed glass beads. And these might be a little bit harder to see on this light colored mat. So let me see if I've got something that'll make it a little bit easier for y'all to see these clear beads. I'm just looking around. There we go. There we go. That's going to be a little easier to see. And it looks like they're most the same size. This one's a little more go-go-y, looks like. And there's one that's frosted. I don't know if it's meant to be a bead mix or if they're just pressed glass beads. There are approximately 8 ounces of this, but these are some pretty fun clear glass beads. I really like that I got this little extra bonus bead. I'm actually going to pull that out and set it aside and use it in, I'm probably going to be making a bookmark. Let's be real. That's the most likely thing that I'm going to be making with it. Although that would be great as part of like a focal or something like that, since it is such a special bead amongst all these other beads. All right, where are we right now? Okay. So here's all of these beads so far. So now let's look at our findings. We've got charms and connectors maybe. Let's find out. I know we definitely have our little bookmark. It is 5 inches long, silver etched, and I don't know if we're all getting the same bookmark or not. So I love that mine has like butterflies and flowers and things on it. I think it's really pretty. If you also subscribe to the Curated Bead Box and you got a bookmark, but your bookmark is different, please let me know what you got. I would love to find out how this might be different for all of us. All right. But then we've got our Treble Cluff charms. And you know what? These are super cute. I kind of love these. There are 14 of these in here. I wonder if you could use them as a connector, like connect on that end and then maybe connect here or something like that, or maybe connect here. Maybe. We'll have to see. I'm going to leave one of these guys out for my little bookmark. I'm going to add some other beads as we go, but there we go. For those guys. And I would, if I wasn't making with this, I would put this in here since it fits nicely in that section, but I am going to be making with this. So, and then we've got our musical note metal charms. There are 14 of them, and it looks like they are double-sided. Let's get these closer so you can see. And a couple of them are a little entangled. Got a cord going on here. Come on, friend. Let's get out here. You know what? I can pull this apart later. I don't need to do it right now. Oh, how interesting. It looks like most of them are the 2-note variety, but we've got one of them, in my bag at least, that just has a single note on it. How fun is that? You are special, so you are also going on my bookmark. And maybe one more of these. How about that? Okay, so let's get these guys in here. I'm going to give you another look at this before we start making things. Just to all of these all organized in here for the Curated Bead Box for August 2025. I sort of love it. I think it's really fun. And so let's get some of these beads out of here and do a little bit of, let's get a couple of these guys. Just a little bit of, let's get one of those, a couple of these. All right. I think that should be enough beads to be able to do something fun with for these. I'm going to do just a strand with several of these charms hanging off of it. I think that's what I want to do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab some of this beading wire from in here. I never do that, but we've got the beading wire here, and I'm using it for a bookmark. So that's going to be just fine for that. Let's use the beading wire for making this strand. I'm stringing this on here. Let's grab a couple of jump rings and these crimps. And this will give me a chance to play around with some taco crimping. All right, so tools, tools, tools. I need some flush cutter for cutting wire. I need some chain nose pliers for opening and closing jump rings. And I need a crimper. Now my favorite way of crimping is using a magical crimper. But you need specific crimps for that. The 2x2 crimp tubes, and since I'm using the crimps that came in here, I am going to go ahead and grab my Xuron crimper, and we're going to do crimps using that. The Xuron crimper has 3 sections up here for different size beads, and it's got its little mountaintop there for folding the crimp into a little taco shape. So now that we've got our tools, we've got our beads, I'm going to grab some of this wire and where's the, how do I pull this wire out? It's got some tape holding the wire together. Oh, well then. There we go. Alright, and it's not going to need to be that long, I think, so not longer than that anyway. And I'm giving myself a little bit of extra room for crimping. So let's go ahead and snip that off there. So it's as long as the bookmark plus about 2.5 to 3 extra inches for crimps. All right, let's start with the wire crimped onto the bottom charm. I'm just going to crimp directly onto that. And so let's grab, and then I can start stacking these other guys onto there. I only need 2 of the jump rings, and we're going to do that for our additional charms. And let's grab 2 of these crimps out, 1 for each end of my beading wire. The reason I'm using beading wire and not, like, I don't know, a head pin or a craft wire is that I want there to be some movement in this. I like it to be a little swingity. All right. You are okay, my lady. Oh, and Ellen wishes I was snuggling with her. And honestly, I kind of wish I was too. But that's okay. So I've got the crimp on my wire. I've got the wire going through my charm, and I'm just bending the wire back towards my crimp. There we go. And I'm just going to make sure that my wires are parallel with each other. It's kind of important with this style of crimping that they be parallel. There we go, like that. Alright, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a close first before it folds, just to get some, and very gently, I'm not pressing very hard, it's not even closing all the way. I just want to start it on getting a little bit of a seam there. And then I settle this right into that nook there where it will fold the crimp in half, like that. And you turn it 90 degrees to one of the other divots, and this is a small crimp, so I'm going to use the smallest one. 1, 2, 3. We'll start with 2 actually. There we go. Now, if I was doing this as a necklace, I would grab a crimp cover for this, but since it's just going to be something that we have dangling from here, and it's not going to be rubbing against any skin, I am not going to worry about that. Alright, so how do I want these to be on here? Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then how about these guys go 1, beads, guys. Right, and I'm going to want my first note there, and then my second note we're going to put right there. Okay. All right, that works for me. So let's get our spacer on first. And I'm not even gonna bother snipping off this bit of excess wire. I'm gonna have it just go through the hole on these beads as I add them. Okay, except for now it's a little bit short, so I'm gonna snip it down to the level of that bead. And this guy here, this guy here. And now I need to attach the jump ring to my note here. I'm going all monochrome for my guy right here, so let's grab. I'm not doing any of the sepia tones for this one. I could though, but I'm just feeling monochrome right now, so the grays and the clear beads and all of that are kind of speaking to me right now. So let's get this jump ring on. I'm sorry, I'm using one of my actually my chain nose pliers to hold one end of the jump ring, and I'm using the Zero crimper because it's got this bit right here at the end. It's pretty much like a chain nose plier, only it's much narrower. I'm using it kind of like a pliers so that I can open and close that. I love a multifunctional tool, something that you can use for more than one thing. All right, so we've got that guy on there. Let's add these on. I love getting little fun bits like this that are, you know, not necessarily even jewelry. So being able to bead things that aren't like actual jewelry is kind of fun to me. Like we got last month, we got that beaded pen, which was super fun. And I think you can actually get more of these bookmarks from the dollarbead.com. All right, let's get this next note on here, because it's going to be this one right here. Swing it open. Get that guy on there. Swing it closed. How fun is this? So, full disclosure, I have not always been a bookmarks kind of gal. My poor mother had to put up with me dog-earing so many of the pages of the books that I borrowed from her to read. It's just, that's how I would always do it. That's how I would always do my bookmarks. I kind of love that. All right. Let's go. I'm going to add my crimp here. Go through the bookmark. This part might be a little bit fiddly, but that's okay. I'm going to go through just the first two beads on here with the wire. Like that. And I'm totally fine with it having a little bit of curve to it, so let's call that good and get to crimping again. Oh, let's make sure that this can be centered. There you go. I'm just doing a gentle squeeze there, not crimping it, not making it super done. Then we go over here to make our divot in the crimp, and now let's fold it over. Oh, and you are okay. You are okay. There we go. I'm gonna snip off my excess wire. Right there. This was fun, actually. Now I have my musical notes and flowers. Bookmark. That is really fun. But yay, okay. So there we go. I will put links in the description below to the tools that I used, to the Curated Bead Box. If you would interested in subscribing, there is a coupon code that you can use for 35% off of your first month subscription with the Curated Bead Box. And all right, I will have more things that I'm going to be making with this later this month. Until next time, my friends, happy beading.